Hello there and welcome to CHITA Diaries. So in today's video, I will be just demoing or giving a tutorial on how I achieved this afro on my thin natural hair. But before we begin, I wanted to just do a quick recap and I will just rewind a bit to April of 2020. So this was last year and I had tried to do an afro the traditional way. So where you stretch your hair, and I chose twists. You could also do plaits, aka braids, and the traditional way that people do an afro, especially people with normal density or like high density type of hair or thick hair, is you stretch it out, or you could blow dry it and the like. But okay, I actually don't think most people blow dry, but basically you just stretch your hair out. So that is what I did. I stretched it out and then I combed it through. So I combed it, made sure everything was, stretched and poofy. And yeah, my afro was quite the struggle, as you see soon. And I actually remember going out with this afro, you guys, and it just took a light wind. Like, it wasn't even a heavy wind, and my hair was flying all over the place. And not only that, it looked kind of thin. And in that moment, I realized that the fully stretched type of afro that, most people teach us to do isn't necessarily, ideal for those of us with thin hair. I mean, it looked okay, but it looked like a struggle, if you catch my drift. So I felt that it was important for me to show you, why I've actually made this video, because this is what my hair looked like when I used, like the standard way of trying to get an afro. It was okay, but it wasn't giving me what I needed it to give me as an afro. Yeah. So now we shall fast forward to the present time. No, this was actually like a month ago. But yeah, this was sometime in May, and I wanted to try an afro again. It had been a while, literally an entire year since the last time I'd done an afro. And I first moisturized and sealed my hair like I usually do after my wash day. And I have like I have like a whole moisturizing routine. You can check my channel out for a whole bunch of other wash days. I won't get into that, but this is how I parted my hair, because I was trying to go for like a rounded look. So I had ponytails on the side, the top, middle section, and the back. So to moisturize my hair, which is very important, by the way, I chose to do the LCO method with a leave-in, a cream, and an oil. So my leave-in was the Quench by Jackie's. You can use whatever makes your hair happy. These just happen to be the products that I had. And I will emphasize that you really need to make sure your hair is moisturized when you're doing an afro, because of all the manipulation that you'll be putting it through. The next important thing, at least I feel, is to thoroughly detangle your hair. Now, if you like to finger detangle, you can try, but for me, and this is the C in the LCM method that I was using on my moisturizer, the Jackie's Curl Lala. I feel like if you're doing a style like an afro, like, trust me. Oh, and then I sealed with some sweet almond oil. But yeah, if you're doing an afro, if you're doing a style, sorry, like an afro, and you especially if you're using a pick and the like to just give it that shape, you will most likely be doing that on dry hair. Now, if you just used your fingers, throughout your styling process, and there might be shed hair or just knots in there, using an afro comb might force you to rip out unnecessary hair. So I first, used a white tooth comb like you had seen with my leave-in, and then once I applied my moisturizer and my hair had far more slip, I then went in with my Denman brush. You don't have to do this. You can even just end with a white tooth comb, but I feel that it's important. Definitely try and make sure that there are no tangles left in your hair, even as you are setting it or moisturizing it. So the next thing that I will talk about is how you actually stretch your hair. So you can either use plaits or twists. Plaits give you more stretch, twists give you stretch, but it's like, not as much as plaits would. So I went for twists to give me the stretch, and then I turned that twist into a bantu knot out to give my hair more volume and some curl definition at the end, which you will see later. And I feel like that was very important. So once again, I made sure I thoroughly detangled my hair. You don't have to if you're not about that life, you know, like you can continue as you do. But if you'd like to try this, yeah, like I would definitely recommend that you thoroughly detangle your hair. Then I put my hair in a twist to stretch it and then twirled it into a bantu knot out to give it volume and some curl definition. That curl definition will help us thin-haired girls, you know, get that volume that we want. So once again, I moved on to the next section and I applied my leave-in. I went in with a white tooth comb first. If you want, you can even start with your fingers. And then I got my cream or moisturizer or styler, applied that. As you can see there, like I also finger detangled as I was going, and then I sealed all of that with an oil, and the oil I'm using is 100% sweet almond oil. Then once I was done, I just split that in two because the section was too big for a diamond brush to pass through. And then I went in and thoroughly detangled some more, and then I twisted it for stretch and then twirled it into a bantu knot out. Sorry, into a bantu knot. Yeah. And I just proceeded to do that for the rest of my hair. So once I was done, this is what my hair was looking like. I had applied a lot of product because trust me, like an afro is high manipulation, and yeah, it's actually not something you should aim to do all the time. It's just, you know, it's one of those styles that's a flex, you know, it's for vibes, but not something that you should really aspire to do all the time. And yeah, that was me just showing you that it was like 1 p.m. or 13 hours on a Friday, I believe. And I just covered my hair with a satin headscarf. Yeah, it was like I was at home and going, like I had nowhere to go. So that's me covering my hair in advance. And then it takes my hair 2 days to dry. But I purposely did this 1 day before because I wanted to work on hair that was damp, like on purpose. Because combing through like fully dried hair is not something you want to do. And for some of us who are also tender-headed, like it's not things like you literally get a headache and also rip your hair out. So passing a pick or a comb through damp, wettish hair is ideal. So yeah, this was now the next day, like almost 24 hours later, and I just applied a bit more oil to my fingers before, you know, handling my hair to lessen frizz. Even though like I didn't need to, I feel like I just did that out of reflex. But yeah, my hair was actually a bit more damp than I had thought it was going to be, and I was a bit worried that I was working on wet hair and I wondered how it was going to turn out, but it like ended up, you know, working out just fine even though it was really damp. So yeah, I just took everything down, and that's me showing you that it was like 11 a.m. the next day and my hair was still damp. Like yeah, low porosity struggles. But yeah, I just continued to do so. And then instead of using like a wide tooth comb to like really comb everything out, I first just used my hands to pluck everything out. And because of the bantu knots, even though like the hair is technically stretched with the twist, the bantu knots helped give it, you know, some volume as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. And now it was time to pick. So you just take your time, like you just take your time, try and closing any gaps. If there are any like curls from the bantu knots that may look too clumpy, you can unravel those as well. And this is the part where you form your afro. Now, because my hair was damp, it was like my pick was just gliding through, like it was gliding through. It was nice and soft. Yeah, like those, no tension whatsoever, no breakage. If I did this on like 100% dried hair, would be a different story. And that's why I've seen a lot of people, like even if their hair is dry, they always tend to spray it with water, like right before they pick, just so their hair can be a bit more manageable. But in my case, I was just working on damp hair, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Then I just picked and picked and picked and picked and picked until I was satisfied. Then I just used my hands to give it the shape that I wanted. And yes, like I am all forehead and no edges, unfortunately. But we move. I just tried to make, whatever shape I could. And then I also got some edge control, and that's the edge control that I used. This isn't necessary, but it's just something that I decided to do. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're wondering, you're thinking that this edge control is the bomb because my edges just laid so easily, like, do take into account the fact that my hair is damp. That's why it looks so easy. But yeah, if it was dry, it probably wouldn't be as slick as that. Sorry, I can't talk. But yeah, there we go. I just continued to fluff with my fingers and give it that round shape that I wanted. And of course, an afro is never complete without some nice big earrings. And there we go. Thank you so much for watching. This is the end of the video. I really hope you found this useful, honestly, truly. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, and shout out to one of my really good friends, Mumbika. If you're watching this, yeah, she's the reason I dressed up that day, just so you know. But yeah, thanks for watching.